We are now coming to the rear end of John Cena's Farewell Tour 2025. John Cena has had his 17th reign, going known as the never seen 17 and the greatest of all time. But is that statement really true? Is John Cena the GOAT, the greatest of all time in WWE history? Today I'm going to be exploring that statement. I'm going to try and see where we can understand how John Cena is the GOAT and maybe where it can be argued that he's not. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. It's guys been asking to record. Always remember, smash like and subscribe on to the flipping channel. And let's get into this one. At WrestleMania 41 earlier this year, John Cena defeated the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes to win the WWE Undisputed Championship, which is now known as the WWE Championship. But John Cena became a 17-time champion, which no other wrestler has ever done in the history of wrestling. This is a statement that can make John Cena the GOAT, you know. 17 different title reigns as a world champion in a 25-year WWE career is one of the greatest accomplishments that no one will ever touch. You know, we have a lot of good wrestlers. Roman Reigns, a 6 or 7-time WWE champion. Seth Rollins, a 6-time WWE champion. Randy Orton, a 14-time WWE champion. But none of them come close to John Cena. You know, Cena clears all their reigns. I know people could say that John Cena had a lot of short reigns that lasted about 2 weeks or 20 days long, but it doesn't matter. He held the title still. It's not like it was one moment. He did have a cash-in on once or twice maybe, but he still was the champion. He was the WWE champion for a certain point of time, you know. We have to understand that. And Cena's final run as a world champion was a very, very good reign, you know. A very nostalgic reign, I understand. We had a lot of nostalgic matches, the likes of CM Punk, Randy Orton, obviously Cody Rhodes he had, obviously in his final title defense against R-Truth as well. So most of his title defenses were against legends, you know, but that's what we wanted in this farewell tour. Cena faces his old past rivals, defending what his championship is as a heel, a character we've never seen a John Cena's before. And him being a champion while also being a heel was a very, very good thing, you know. We saw this different side of John Cena being a champion, not this lively, positive John Cena that runs down to the ring with Stu, shouting to the fans, throwing his towel. No, this was a Cena that wore the title backwards, wore all the black merch, had a black Titantron, and had no charisma about it. It was a different John Cena, which made this reign extra special. But the only thing that could be argued against was John Cena's schedule the last 10 years. We know that John Cena has taken a big acting role for many movies now. He's one of the best actors that have ever come out of wrestling. So does this mean that John Cena can be argued as a part-timer still? Well, yes, John Cena is still a part-timer, you know. His schedule this year has still been quite disappointing. We went with a month nearly without seeing John Cena while being the champion, which was something that we thought John Cena would turn up every week, you know, be having matches on SmackDown and Raw, obviously fighting at every pay-per-view. But his matches in general have been quite poor, you know, slow, boring, just keeping the tempo low. And only wrestled on one SmackDown all year against R-Truth that lasted 5 minutes and ended in a disqualification, which was just a fill-in just for him to hit his pipe bomb on the best in the world, CM Punk. So he's not really fought on SmackDown properly and has only had about 7 or 8 matches this year, which is very, very good still for a 48-year-old. But it's the quality of these matches, you know. He's only wrestling once a month, maybe twice a month at best. But it's always over a long period of time, you know. I understand that Cena's nearly 50 years old now. He can't do it as much as he used to. But his matches have recently only been 10 minutes long. I will give him the massive respect. His match against Cody Rhodes last Sunday at SummerSlam for the Undisputed Championship was absolutely incredible. Definitely in the top 25 matches in John Cena's career for me. It has to be. Many, many amazing John Cena matches. And it's definitely not the best, but it's one of the greatest we've seen. We saw the real John Cena, you know. We saw the flair, the colour, the pride in John Cena, the charisma. It all came back. And him facing Cody Rhodes, giving Cody Rhodes that really good match and elevating Cody Rhodes as a star, you know. Him beating the real John Cena, elevating his character, making Cody Rhodes someone who's better, you know, better than what he was, you know. We know he beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. But since that, he's not really had that same feeling about his character, you know. And him beating the greatest of all time, in my opinion, John Cena, is something that will elevate him forever. And he will always have that defeating John Cena to end his final WWE title reign. But for me, John Cena is one of the greatest of all time. I think we have to admit that, you know. A 17-time champion. What he's done for the company. Made the most make-a-wishes out of any person in the whole world. Elevating WWE to different heights, you know. Making wrestling great again. Wrestling after WWF was kind of just put to bed. It was a downhill spiral, you know. And they didn't have their man, you know. They lost Brock Lesnar. Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Rock went on to acting. Then after that, there was not a lot of big names left. The Big Show was kind of cooked. He weren't that star, really. And all the big ones were like Kurt Angle was retiring. Shawn Michaels weren't the same. Triple H was on different brands. And Monday Night Raw was lackluster. But who stepped up and said to Vince McMahon, believe in me, I will make this company great once again? John Cena. No one believed in him. No one believed that John Cena would take it to a different level. But he did. He made wrestling great. And again is arguably the greatest of all time. So once again, as we approach the end of John Cena's farewell tour and close to retirement than ever before, we have to say thank you to Cena for everything he's done, you know. We are now on the back end of this farewell tour. And like we saw at SummerSlam, we saw the return of Brock Lesnar and he floored John Cena, to be fair. But when John Cena was walking out, we saw a clip on the WWE Instagram and Twitter page of him saying, cut my music, I just want to listen to these fans one last time. In one of the biggest arenas, probably the biggest arena he'll see before he retires, you know. And no, we'll never get another SummerSlam John Cena match again. He walked out, the fans just chanting, thank you, Cena. And I think that was a surreal moment for him. It was like, I kind of have to let this go. Because I think in John Cena's mind, he doesn't want to retire. But he's doing what's best for him. We know, like, again, John Cena's only 50 years old, you know. It won't be long. He's 50 in 2 years' time. So, it's approaching. The age is catching up now. Obviously, he's had a hair transplant and everything, so we know Cena's getting old. And I think Cena loves wrestling so much, he didn't want to let it go. Obviously, you could say his schedule was only one match a year, but him training, still trying to keep in the same shape, he can't do it anymore. And I think he's realised that he's got to let it go. And he's doing what's best for him. So it's nice for him to give the fans one last year of pure, full-time John Cena. And it was really nice to see, you know. For me to live this experience, to see basically every pay-per-view live, watching him live, you know. I never got to see John Cena in person, sadly, because he was never there. Because when he went to London earlier this year, I went to SmackDown instead of Raw because I wanted to see Roman Reigns. But I was going to go to Raw, but it was just too expensive, you know. I couldn't afford it. So, I couldn't get to see him, but, you know, to just see him on his farewell tour and see him do all this was an incredible experience. So I think John Cena's the GOAT. But what do you think? Would you argue against the statement that John Cena is the greatest of all time, or would you agree with me and say, yes, Cena's the greatest? So thank you for watching. It has been nice to record. Always remember, smash the like and subscribe button to develop a channel. And I'll see you little day faces soon. Goodbye, guys.